Okay, friends, we're going to start our scarecrow paintings today. This is a silhouette. So basically what's happening in this picture is there's either a sunrise or sunset going on that's causing the objects to become very dark and shadowed, but then the sky is full of a lot of bright colors, and that's a silhouette. So we're going to do the underpainting today, and you're going to start with the ground. We're going to use a color called burnt sienna. It's kind of like a brown that mixes really well with other colors. So I'm going to take my water, and I have to wet my brush really good, otherwise these temper cakes don't work unless you get a little bit of water on them. And I'm going to draw a line at the bottom of my paper that is about a third of the way up. I don't want to go too far because I have to have room for my scarecrow. I might go a little higher. And what we're going to do is nice long brush strokes back and forth, grabbing water and paint each time. Okay, so that way we get nice long strokes of color. So I'm going to go in until I get all the way to the bottom of the paper, and I can hold the part of the paper that's not being used while I'm painting. So before this dries, what I can do is, if I want to find one color to mix into my burnt sienna, I can do that. So I'm going to go in and give it a little bit of like an orange, mix a little bit of an orange in there, and that's going to brighten up that burnt sienna a little bit. But you could do any color, just limit it to one. All right, so now that I have that done, from here up I'm going to do the sky, and I want you to think about warm or cool colors, and you're going to pick one or the other. If you pick cool, it's going to kind of look more like a little bit later in the evening, but if you pick warm colors, it's going to look more like a sunrise. So we're going to do long brush strokes across. I'm going to pick cool colors because in my original I did use warm colors, so I know you can already see what that looks like. So I'm going to go in with blue, green, and a purple. So again, for my cools, I'm going to start at the top first while that bottom's drying, okay? And then by the time I get down to that bottom, it should be pretty close to dry. So you can use water to spread that paint out. Also, keep in mind with the temper cake, the longer you rub that brush around in the paint, and notice I'm still being gentle, I still have ballerina toes. As longer you roll it around, the darker. Now look how dark that color is. So I'm going to go in, fill up about maybe a third. It's up to you. Now I'm going to get another color that's a cool because I picked to be team cool. So I'm going to go in with green. Just a little heads up, friends, sometimes green and purple do not mix well together. So if you're going to place those two next to each other, you might not want to mix them like I'm doing right now with the blue and green. So I'll show you a little bit of an example. I'm going to go in with some purple right now, and I've got green here. And you'll see if I mix it a lot, it'll get really dark, okay? So just be careful of the green and purple if you are choosing cool colors, but every other combination works pretty well. Okay, so I'm going to go back in maybe with a little bit of blue, and I'm going to keep going until I get all the way down to that line for my ground. Now where the ground and sky separate, that's called your horizon line. So right here would be your horizon line. So I don't want to bring any of the sky into the ground. There has to be a separation. Okay, so now that I have that done, I'm going to let that dry. And then what you do in the next day is we're going to be drawing out our scarecrow using black paint.